What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to Atlas Theory. Now, I know it's been a while, but we have a DAC interview today with the Atlessio family. I have their leader, TheDonKane, on call today. We're going to go over a research paper he did recently and also kind of talk about where his DAC is at and kind of where everything is sitting at the moment. I have TheDonKane on the call, leader of the Atlessio family. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for asking. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
good to hear. And could you tell us maybe first a little bit about yourself and kind of how you found Star Atlas?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is kind of in asset management, and in 2019, I ended up working for one of the top performing blockchain asset managers or crypto hedge funds.
Oh wow.
Um, and so the my background is, pretty well positioned in the cryptocurrency space.
Hmm.
And it's funny because I was I woke up one morning and I went on Twitter and there was this tweet thread that had been retweeted by one of the people that I follow by this account called Soul Big Brain, and
Okay.
I had known about Solana, and I really like Solana, but I wasn't like a Solana maximalist at the time.
Sure.
Uh, and I see this thread. It's about all of the play to earn games in Solana, and the first one is Star Atlas.
Hmm.
And I click on Star Atlas's Twitter account, and I see like 100,000 plus, 100,000 k plus, or 100,000 plus followers, and I think to myself, wow, there is a lot of attention at this project. So I do a deep delve. I look into it, and it was almost like it almost became an addiction. Like I couldn't stop looking at the content. I couldn't I was watching town halls. I was watching videos. I was
Hmm.
reading I read the white paper and the economics paper, and really when I read that, I was pretty sold because there was clearly a lot of work and expertise put into those papers.
Hmm.
So so yeah.
Awesome. No, I think I have a similar journey. At least like after finding it, it's like an obsession, like consuming all the content that I can.
I can't stop. I can't stop. So interesting.
Yeah, it is. But going
Yeah.
off of that, then in your journey, um, what kind of made you decide to create the Atlessio family, this Star Atlas DAC versus just joining one? Can you take me through um, that kind of process?
Sure, absolutely. I think so. For me, I had never been part of like a gamers guild before. I've gamed on and off like all of my life basically, and I was really more into first-person shooters. But I've played other games like RuneScape way back in the day that were
Right.
these big MMORPGs. Um, but yeah, so I didn't know much about guilds, and I realized that the guild landscape was huge. I had been uh, watching and reading all of this content on Star Atlas, and there were some like really in-depth guilds that were referring to themselves as a DAC, a decentralized autonomous corporation, and that's mentioned in the white paper, in the economics paper, what those are.
Hmm.
And so I kind of just I realized I realized that there was going to be a lot of research to be done, and I thought to myself, okay, if I'm basically already completely sold on Star Atlas and how revolutionary this thing has the potential to be, uh, so I might as well go ahead and consider. So I hadn't made the decision yet. I kind of wanted to do the research and then make a decision because if I saw a guild that or a DAC that it kind of just fit everything, all of the purpose that I had going into Star Atlas, then
Yeah.
I was gonna join that. But I think after doing the research, it just delving deep into the research, it kind of just I don't know. It gave me motivation, I guess, to bring something to the landscape that nobody else was doing.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know that you recently came out with that research paper. So, what was your process? Like, how did you begin this whole journey of researching DAX? Where did you find all this information, and uh, how did you kind of want to structure it and put it together?
Sure, sure, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, everything that I've been doing outside of college has been in basically a research role, right? So
Okay.
I've been pretty much investment management, or like an investment analyst, research analyst, that those type positions. And so I basically already had the framework of how to kind of attack like large scale research, and especially in the crypto industry too.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that doing research on the guilds was a little bit different, but I still used the same processes. I basically went through and I joined every Discord of all of the top guilds,
Awesome.
and I read. I must have spent 2 3 days just delving in, trying to figure out, who is running these things, what are they doing, what specific technologies are they using, like the Great Protocol. That's so that like
Whoa.
Great Protocol. That's such a innovative technology, and that's definitely something we're working on integrating into our own guild. But
Awesome.
but yeah, so I delved deep into all of it. I had built a kind of like a form almost, like a framework for the top key characteristics and attributes of what a guild consists of, I guess. And
Okay.
then I went through the top ones, and I just filled out those forms for each individual guild, and I reached out to Christian Dragnell first, the guild leader of Interstellar Alliance,
Uh huh.
and he was lightning fast with the response. He saw exactly what I was doing, and he gave me so much good feedback. And he was, Christian.
Awesome.
He's like cut to the chase kind of guy, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, because we didn't spend time talking about it. I basically just asked him, hey, is this the right information? Is there anything else I can include? And he said A, B, C, D, right? Like he just went through it with me, and that was kind of the case with a few of the top guild leaders. But eventually, it got to the point where there was kind of getting this research report was kind of getting low key hyped up by a lot of different individuals in the community, and guilds were reaching out to me to be added to it, and actually they still are
Okay.
reaching out to me. But we definitely do have plans to expand this, and push this forward, and include all of the guilds that we missed, all the guilds that want to be a part of our research, and yeah. So
Awesome. Well, for you guys listening along or watching along, I just want to say that this research paper is in the description if you want to go ahead and pull that up, as well as if you run a DAC and want to be submitted. I'll have all the Don Kane's information in the description. So, yeah, you guys can go ahead and reach out to him, or, yeah, go ahead and read the research paper. But going off of that, was there something like really unique or surprising in your research journey that maybe you weren't expecting about these DACs, or one of them?
oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. um I think what surprised me most was the level of thought that had been put into a lot of these DACs, a lot of these guilds. I think the Final Frontier in particular was when I went to go research the Final Frontier. I think they were third. I think I went Interstellar Alliance, Aphia, and then Final Frontier.
Yeah.
Um, when I came across them and I saw the white paper, their white paper is, 20, 30 pages long.
It's a
Uh,
good one.
when I came across that, and I looked through it, it made me realize the level of detail, the level of like interaction that these guilds, want to have with the Star Atlas community. And it seemed to me that these weren't legacy guilds. These weren't traditional guilds with, World of Warcraft or any other MMORPG. These guilds are going to be corporations, right? They're going to be
Yeah.
decentralized autonomous corporations, um, And I think that's, I think personally that is going to grow the Star Atlas ecosystem. Like the guilds are going to be responsible for basically turning this from a game into a real life metaverse, I think.
Exactly.
So that was definitely interesting. Another thing too, regarding the release of the research paper,
Mhm.
was that was the ultimate organic marketing tool for us launching our own guild. I mean,
Okay.
we've technically been a guild for um, we've technically been a guild for only 8 days, right?
Hmm.
And we have 175 Twitter followers and 100 people in our Discord.
Crazy.
And you know, the growth has kind of been immaculate, and it kind of made me think, and this is, I guess, advice for any current guild leader or any person considering creating their own guild.
Mhm.
If you give the community something for free, something that it has real true value that they can't find
Mhm.
otherwise, they're going to reward you in ways that you could have never have imagined.
Oh man, yeah, that's that providing value thing that like is always the thing that propels, I would say.
Absolutely.
But you kind of mentioned some of my next question. But is there something you mentioned the white paper? Is there something that through all this research you took and brought with you into the creation of your guild?
Sure. Yeah, I think going through the research, right, going through all of these guilds, it kind of gave me how about I say some insight
Okay.
into, what the guild landscape was doing really, really well and what the guild landscape was lacking, at least in my opinion. And so we kind of situated our guild to um, take all of the good things from these guilds and really, really focus on some of the things that they were lacking.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the biggest one, or the biggest key concept that a lot of these guilds are lacking is this idea of lore, right?
Mm,
So I don't actually describe Star Atlas as a video game. I
okay.
describe it as a highly gamified metaverse, right? And I think a
Right.
lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
And so if these guilds are businesses, right, then we want them to have the same characteristics as the Star Atlas metaverse, which is gamification. And I think that having an emphasis on the lore uh, really, really helps people to understand not only how we're structured, but also it's fun too, right? Like
Right.
who doesn't love watching a mafia movie or a mafia TV show, right? Like
Right.
it's fun to get yourself involved in something that's very lore centric, very very culture centric. Now I will say, and this I feel like it is important because I have had a few people reach out to me
Mm.
regarding kind of like our ethics,
Okay.
and I will say there definitely is a disconnect between our ethics as eventually a corporation and the ethics of the traditional mafia, which is very
Mm.
Machiavellian, right? If you do
Right.
something they don't like, they're gonna whack you or something like that, and
Yeah.
we as a corporation and a guild, our ethics on the back end definitely don't reflect that. Although we definitely do want to play into the lore, right? So
Right.
so that gamification aspect, we're definitely going to play into that, but we're not we're not going to do the same things, that the
Right.
mafia did on the back end, right? So
No, exactly. But I'm glad you mentioned like the lore and the storytelling of everything because I know you and I have had conversations before about how important that's going to be. You're talking about it now. I've talked to a few other DACs, and it's going to be crazy once we all start building out our own lores, and there will be.
yeah,
I'll just stop there.
I'm so excited. I
Yeah.
am so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But so for anybody watching, kind of wondering more about this mafia themed Guild. Could you tell us a little bit more about the deck and kind of how it's structured?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're definitely very early in our infrastructure process, but here's what I will say is we've got two main goals, right?
Okay.
And the first one is, like I said in the town hall, we want to provide an infrastructure for people to be able to use this as a primary source of income, right?
Right.
We see the potential in Star Atlas. We see, the project that they're building and what this means for the broader community, for the world itself.
Mm.
Um, and we want to you know, help people who want to make that transition from that boring, mundane work, that mundane corporate life work, who
Yeah.
want to make that transition from that into, a highly gamified and fun thing. Like, I don't know one person on the planet that would choose, that corporate life versus a highly, like, playing a game if you could make the same amount of money, right?
Right.
I don't know many people that would choose that over this. So I
Yeah.
think that's our most important thing
Okay.
initially.
Okay.
Now we haven't posted much about this yet, but kind of the reason we started a guild in the first place is actually our long-term goal.
Mm.
We see the metaverse as basically a sandbox for political and economic innovation.
Hmm.
And right now, one of our conciliers, which is basically like our advisory role, it is guys who already, or people who already have full-time jobs, but they're really interested in this. So, they spend maybe a few hours a day or something like that helping us out.
That's
One
cool.
of our conciliers, his name is Jimmy Hoffa, funny enough. But we're not going to whack him, I promise. He's really smart. um, he's the type of guy. So for me and you, or me and regular people, we like to, to wind down at night. We like to, watch a Netflix show or watch a movie or something like that. But he's the type to read political theory, right? He
Mm.
reads like John Locke and,
Oh wow.
the Magna Carta for fun. Like, he does this for fun, right? That is
Uh-huh.
that is his passion. And so he is, and honestly, if the community wanted to learn more about this, honestly, it might be worth it to have him on an interview, because
Yeah.
he's such a smart guy, and he is basically building out. He says it's only going to be 30 pages, but he showed me the framework for it yesterday, and it's probably going to be like 100 pages. He's building out a framework for a brand new political and economic system, right? And we want to
Wow.
use the metaverse to as a sandbox to test that, right?
Yeah.
We think that in the future, some of these guilds and corporations are going to create, like, political and economic systems that are so robust, they're going to percolate out into the real world, right?
Very cool.
Politicians and economists within the metaverse are going to cite their experience in the metaverse and go and get real jobs in, in
Hmm.
in our government and in, our federal banking system. So
I
so yeah,
love that.
that's kind of that.
That's crazy. That's a good conversation too. Like, yeah, if we all jump on a call, maybe
I'd,
that'd be
I'd be
awesome.
more than happy to, and he's a fantastic orator too. Although you may need to cut him off because he does tend to go on a little bit long sometimes. But that's kind of the concept, right? Is that these things are so brand new, he kind of has to take some time to explain it. But
Awesome.
it's definitely fun listening to him.
Very cool. Well, do you have anything to add before we wrap up the deck interview?
Yeah, I think if anyone is watching this and they find us interesting, come check us out. We got Discord, Twitter. You can DM me directly on Discord or Twitter. My at is at TheDonKane, and we're looking to grow rapidly. And we're looking for people who are interested in. Right now, we're looking for people interested in helping us build the infrastructure to all this. But
Okay.
eventually, we're gonna be wanting a lot of people to help us in game as well. But we're
Awesome.
growing rapidly, and anybody interested, come check us out.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with the Don Kane, with the Atlessio family. Again, thanks for coming on. and let me know what other interviews you guys want to see. We'll make sure we get those done. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if this is your first time here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.